Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Money Talks, an exclusive conversation with some of the most brilliant minds in business, entrepreneurship, and finance. Today, we find ourselves in beautiful Singapore, sitting down with one of the most popular and most sought after founders in all of crypto, the founder of Jupiter Exchange. If you guys haven't heard about it yet, you will very soon, because DeFi is taking over the world as you know it. Today, we have the privilege of sitting down with the founder, Meow, who's accomplished incredible things building one of the largest entrepreneurial and crypto communities in all of the Solana ecosystem, and soon to take over the entire crypto space. Meow, thanks for being here, brother.
How's it going, man?
Doing super well. But before we get started talking about DeFi, building communities online, what Jupiter Exchange is actually doing to revolutionize the space, I want you to take me back to the beginning, because you have an interesting story in crypto. You've been in the space for directly or indirectly for at least a decade. So take me back to the beginning. How did this all start? And what made you get to the point that you are today?
Wow, long story, bro.
We got some time, Bresky.
So I feel like the thing that really got me into crypto was so I did a lot of tech stuff, right? And a lot of social networking, a lot of like viral marketing stuff, right? In fact, I think I actually pioneered one of the the recommendation thing that people might know, right? So we were the first to actually kind of create a system, right, that use social data, right? Because like back then, right, back when I first started in tech, right, recommendations were semantic based, right? That means they were using the words like, okay, like for example, if you're a computer and technology, right? So that's just semantics, right? Now, but we're the first to go like, okay, hey, you know what? If you follow someone, right, you are likely to be like the guy, right? If you guys talk to the same guys, right? And then we found that social data was like a way more interesting data point, right? Than semantic data.
Yes.
Right, right. So we're the first to kind of build a recommendation engine on that, right? And really kind of popularize that via a range of like viral marketing stuff, right? So I think we did a lot of that, and also hung on in the valley for a long time. Did a lot of like different kind of mechanisms, invented a bunch of different things. But something felt missing, right? Something felt missing. So what was really missing was that I was actually always deeply interested in economics and finance, right? But then, well, I mean, if you ever try to build a fintech company, you're not really building fintech, right? You're not building fintech, right? You are navigating regulation. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? We live in a regulated world, right? I mean, like, imagine if you're trying to drive, right? And then there are no lanes, right? It'd be terrible, right? So I get all these rails, right? I'm not, but at the same time, like, I don't do it. And so I feel like I just, every time I went anywhere near that category, I realized that companies were not innovating. Like, every single fintech company you see, right? They're not innovating, right? There's this entire stack of stuff, right? And they're just building under that stuff, right? And there's like, by the way, the stack is massive. You have like the top, you always have the Fed, right? And then you have the banks, and then you have the credit card systems, the processing systems, the entry systems, and they're immutable.
Yes. They're basically, you have to play by their rules.
It's crazy because like every single set their own rules, right? I mean, I'm not criticizing here, right? Even know me, I don't criticize anything, right? But I'm saying there are rules, right? And I'm like, and so I never dealt with it, right? I'm saying, and then at the same time, I felt like I was going through all these economic books, right? And then I always felt like, hey, didn't make fucking sense, right? I mean, you read all this that utility theory, right? And then all this kind of stuff. Even the newer ones I read, like behavioral economics, right? They're all wrong. I don't say it. They're all wrong. None of these theories that corresponded, right, to what was happening in the real world, right? It's almost like economics is this entire branch of like pseudoscience.
Yes, it's like imaginary fairy tale with people dusting it with saying experts say.
Yeah, and precisely, and I just could never like figure that out, right? Why is the whole world living under? We had this
infinite Tsukuyomi.
We had this like dinner yesterday, right? And then Luke was telling me this idea of like infinite Tsukuyomi, right? You just share that.
Yeah, so the infinite Tsukuyomi, it's this jutsu inside Naruto where basically people get put into this eternal spell state where they think of reality is something that it's not, and that's what most people live in.
It's funny, and that's a rich thing that's where it comes from, right? So I feel like for me, I'm like, I mean, I studied economics, right? And I studied economics, and I was in the valley and everything and stuff. So I just felt what's going on here.
It's crazy.
It's like nothing was actually corresponding. Like the financial markets didn't correspond, the predictions were all fucking wrong, you know, like and what was really interesting, right, was crypto came out. Right? And I was like, but you know me, I mean, how do you have the confidence to break out of the infinite Tsukuyomi, right?
Yes.
When everyone around you is like that, right? And you don't really have proof, right? And then you're like, okay, fine, you know. I feel like crypto was really interesting for me because it was the first time about like, hey, wow, holy shit, this is proof. Holy shit, this is proof that this auditing is bullshit.
It was the first glance outside the prison cell and be like, oh, there is freedom out there.
Yeah,
There is
that's the precisely. It's like I'm like, and they're wrong. They're wrong. That's wrong, right? I feel like since we're in Singapore, I tell a story, right? You know, I feel like one of the things that one of the most effective ways that the British, right, used to basically control, right, the colonies was that they basically kind of like installed the mindset that you are stupider. You are just stupid, right? We are the best. Your culture is worse.
Everything's inferior.
Yeah, you are like your culture is inferior. You are inferior, right? Your methods are inferior, right? Your ways of living are inferior, right? In the sense, I feel like by creating this like mindset by you are inferior, right? You know, you're then you will just like follow.
You believe it.
You just believe it, right? Seriously, right? So I feel like I feel like we have broken out of a lot of that like things, but I feel like when it comes to economics and everything and stuff, right? And that's how they enforce control, right? Because it's actually very hard to control someone, right? The only way to control someone, and that's the reason why the Chinese government, North Korea government, and to a significantly lesser extent, right, every single government in the world, even the global West, they focus so much on education, right? You know, and history, right? Because like, what you tell someone very early on, right, in their life, that creates that infinite Tsukuyomi, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like not to get there so much, but I feel like going back to crypto, right? Is that I feel like we live there, right? And I felt like crypto was amazing because I was like, wow, holy shit, nothing.
What year was this? What was the first year you kind of got introduced to crypto? Not when you started building properly.
Can't remember though. It was like 2016, 13, they got introduced to it, right? And then like a bit earlier than that probably. And then I have a really good friend. Basically I had a really good friend and stuff, right? So we started jamming. He's one of the top experts in crypto, right? I was fortunate enough to meet him in the Dogecoin party, right? You know, yeah. And then so it was really funny because we were hanging out, and then I asked him like, and I didn't know anything about crypto, right? So I asked him, hey, do you know? So I was like, hey, what do you know about crypto? He says nothing, right? Then they asked him, what do you know about crypto? I said nothing, right? Turns out that one of us was lying. Right, that's him obviously. But we had kind of like parallel backgrounds, right? Because he had a lot of like, because I did a lot of tech in marketing and also in everything and stuff, right? And then also coding and everything, and then he had a parallel background in like very, very deep like cryptography and financial systems and everything, right? So we got along pretty well, right? And today you see that too, right? It's like all the meme coins or new networks, right? They basically breaking every single concept that we have. Okay, let's share something interesting with you. If you go to all the economic textbook, right? What is the most fundamental concept to teach you? It's actually interesting. You won't even realize it, but it's a concept. The concept is,
Enlighten me.
price. Everything is price, right? No one, like for example, if you study economic textbook, right? You know, they will go, hey, the supply demand curves is all price, right? And what is price denominated in? Fiat, right? So the core of economics doesn't question the underlying thing, fiat, right? That's why it's broken. That's why it's broken. That's why it's fundamentally broken. And then there are many other reasons are broken, right? You know, besides being like this corrupted, like small. Do you guys know that like all the 99% of like some crazy number of the AEI go to the same school? Crazy. They literally go to
They're all in bed cooking together, even though you have this false opposition. At the end of the day, it's all said and done. They're all homies. And we were talking about, it's ridiculous. And we have this concept of this fiat system that everybody's bought into from the moment they're born. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And we talked about this idea of, okay, Bitcoin is introduced, which starts telling people that, hey, you don't have to have $1 trillion or trillion units of something in order to have value. And you don't have to print something in order to introduce stimulus or in order to have economic growth, like they say. And you begin to have these, what we call like these glitches, right? Like Bitcoin and decentralized finance that come into the picture, and they begin to question the status quo.
I mean, I just want to share this. I think it's really interesting because I feel like that really what Luke was saying earlier and stuff really kind of like cemented, and we should write about this. It's a really good topic. Cemented the idea of what is real money or fake money, right? When you create money, right, you need to input energy.
Yes.
And what is the energy, right? Right? And the energy can be human energy, right? A network of people who really so Bitcoin is amazing. It's this combination of both electric energy and human energy, right?
Yes.
Of people that really enjoy the energy called belief, right? So you need both a certain like logistical output, right? Of like actually manifesting that thing and getting it out to enough people, right? And belief, right? Now, and fiat is legit. Fiat is legit money, right? Right? And how does it achieve that, right? It enforces that through like, how to put it, the energy comes from control.
Yes.
Right? You literally have guns, right? To go like, if you print X amount of money and stuff, I'm gonna catch you and put you in prison.
Yeah.
Right?
You had made the example, I think, of Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
And if you had a duplicate of whatever currency or coin or denomination that different rulers or kings had imposed, you technically were forging their power.
Yes, precisely. So it's like and obviously there's also that and that energy is also enforced via this whole network of like the government, central banks, and all different banks, and the banks and branches and everything, right? So the energy for fiat, right, comes from like the ability to control and manifest and actually getting to use your currency, right? Literally, you cannot not accept fiat, right? And how is it enforced? That's enforced by energy, right? Someone is gonna go to your shop and catch you if you don't enforce it, right? So I'll put you in prison or something, or whatever, right? Maybe I'll fine you or something, right? So that's energy. So I feel like that's actually a key thing, right? Okay, it's actually really important. Now we come to crypto.
Yes.
Now in crypto, what is real money? What's fake money, right? And I love that theory because I feel like I've been trying to explain that via a range of like more technical concepts, right? For example, I will talk about liquidity. I will talk about number. I will talk about talk about liquidity. I'll talk about how widespread it is, how many holders it is, right? How long the money has been around, right? Things like that. But I think all these are like symptoms. I prefer your thing much better, right? I think money is real, right? When there's sufficient energy.
Yes.
That goes into it. I'll give an example, right? Ethereum. Talk about Ethereum, right? Ethereum became real money, right? When you have an entire network of people, right, literally, really committing their life energy towards making this like network, right, that works amazingly. I mean, we kind of like joke about Ethereum now because I do a lot of stuff in Solana, right? But Ethereum was amazing, right? You have this like, entire network of people led by Vitalik, right? Who really kind of like gather a critical mass of like financials, gigs, right, holders, like moon boys, right, and then and also like to kind of create this like energy, right, and that's why it changed real money. Ethereum is built off that energy, right, a real sincere human energy that translated into a range of other energies, right, like POW at the start. I mean, POW at the start, the code, the POW, the code infrastructure, right, in single, right. So the government had to do the same thing too, right. The government, if you are a government today, and you'll create money, right? Do the same thing. You got to have a central bank. You got central bank. You got to have all the banks. You got to coordinate them. You got to have the police force to do it. You got to do all that stuff, right? So that's all that takes energy.
That's correct,
right? But if you do it well, then you have money, right? So I feel like that's but it's similar Ethereum, right? So I feel like that's actually how I will start to think about it. I love that theory because I feel like the more you have a currency that is like really a result of a big network of people coming together and putting real energy behind that thing, right?
That makes it real.
Make it real.
Yes.
Right.
And the reason fiat is false, it's not real, is because energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be what?
Transformed.
So what happens when you create $6 trillion out of thin air? You're not creating energy, you're creating an illusion. So if you were, let's say it's a minimum wage, I'm gonna do the benefit of the doubt, use the United States, right? California minimum wage, $15 an hour. If I take $6 trillion, right, divided by $15 an hour, I have roughly about 400 billion human hours of minimum wage labor that have been printed out of thin air. So I have infused into the economic system 400 billion hours of false human labor in order to stimulate growth, which now does what? It deflates the value of real labor. That's why people are like, oh, well, why is it that things are getting more expensive? No. It's not that things are getting more expensive. It's that they're cheapening the value of your energy and labor by introducing falsehood and fakeness and bullshit through the printing of money.
This is a really interesting topic, right? Because it's a really interesting topic, right? And then let me and I agree with you, right? And I feel like that's actually where the whole energy theory is helpful, right? Because I feel like the energy theory of money and stuff, right? I like theories, by the way. I got a whole range of theories, right? But I'm just adding one more to it. Energy theory, right? Of money, right? I feel like it's a very powerful way to understand money, right? Because I got so many things to share, but I feel like that problem, right? I feel like there is some case to be made for printing money, right? But the problem is that it didn't get to the people, right? That would create the corresponding. So the stimulus is good, right? For example, if you create something that is worth how many? 400 billion?
400 billion hours of human labor.
If you're able to create a system that you print X amount of like dollars, right, or currency, right, whatever currency is, right, and then it creates a resulting 400 billion of manpower labor, right? Then that works, right? Things like that. So it's a true stimulus, right? So you create that initial, you give it a push, and then it creates that, right? The problem is that it does not. It does not, right? The way it works is that, because again, why does it not work? Because and without getting into conspiracy theories, right? It's quite simple. Governments don't work with everybody. They can't. It's not possible, right? Governments work with a very small number of people, right? To distribute the money, right? And what happens when you give a small group of people like extremely large sum of money, right? They will distribute in a way that benefits the few. So you got.
I mean, you have the quote that says, "Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." So once you have access to the money printers, then why wouldn't you just print it and give it to your homies and bail out your homies and start gambling like a degenerate? You made a tweet the other day. You're like, there's no difference between degens in crypto and the Wall Street motherfuckers, except the fact that at least the degens in crypto are honest about it.
You can be a degen. You can be a degen too.
Facts, bro.
Right. Facts, man. Facts, right? Facts. You can be a degen too. No, seriously. I mean, like, come on, man. I'm not going to be like, I'm not bullshitting, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, look, this random degen is better than Wall Street. No, fuck you. You're the same.
The difference is the Wall Street degenerates, they get bailed out like a bunch of pussies. We have to deal with the actual consequences.
They got it. It is a very, 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 very small club that you work your way into, right? You literally, it's like every single step of the way, you prove your loyalty to the system. And it's very important everyone understands that, right? Because every closed system demands loyalty.
Yes.
Right? Whether, like, CCP is a great example, right? CCP is a great example of, like, you literally have to prove your loyalty to see every single give you money. Money, goods, right, status, right, whatever, right, things like that. I mean, like, every official in China have like 5 ministers, right, 6 ministers, whatever, right, things like that, because they know kind of that's how the game works, right? So you have this like fundamental construct there, right? That is like So again, to anyone who's watching this, no, you're not better than Wall Street. Don't believe that shit, right? Don't believe that shit. Okay, don't lie to yourself. You're not better. I'm not better, but. What is going on there is that, like, they have created a system where you have to constantly prove that you are you're willing.
Yes.
You're willing. Your entire status, reputation, rank, and power comes from being part of the system.
Yes.
right? So you enforce a system, right? And so now we live in this like infinite hierarchy, right? You know, there's this combination of economic theories, and facts, and like the whole government construct, and also the whole and the whole like banking construct.
Yes.
Right. You know, that kind of like enforces the idea of the infinite economy, right? And then it gotten to the point such that people, even everyone who is complaining about how expensive everything is, right? When we talk, okay, when you and I talk about money, right? You love about we're talking to you. When you and I talk about money, right? It's always how much is something, right? Like, there's a very, very, very small net of people when asked what is money, they go, let's think about it. But let's actually think about what's money.
And most people can't even define it if you ask them.
You can't.
Now, where in all of this did crypto kind of turn a switch in your head and say, I'm going to go full into this and start building in this space? What was kind of that moment? What was the pivotal moment where you're like, I'm going to dedicate my life to building in crypto?
I mean, I'm actually not like, I'm actually not that way. I'm not that way. I'm an experimenter, right? I'm an experimenter. So I think, and you see that in everything I do, right? You know, I'm not, and I feel like that's an advantage for me because I'm not ideologue, right? I feel like there's a lot of people who are very ideologue. They go like, oh, I'm in crypto, I'm crypto, right? You and you see that in a lot of Bitcoin conferences, you know, right? It's like, I'm Bitcoin, I'm crypto. I'm not that way, right? I'm more pragmatic, right? You know, right? I think I didn't really get involved early on, right? Because I was like, okay, this is like the conversation. So I'm really not aware. If you know me, you will know I'm quite pragmatic, right? You know, right? Like I'm very I have certain things that I care a lot about, right? But my execution is pragmatic, right? Pragmatic. Like, I think it's important to get things done. And so anyway, early on in crypto, right? The conversation was very ideology based, right? And also like very it was like, I was like, hey, there's no way in hell like you know, that people use Bitcoin, because I'm actually not that interested in trading, right? I'm actually more interested in like things being used, right? And that's why we built Jupiter, right? Because Jupiter is like literally the most used trading platform in DeFi.
On the most used chain.
Yeah, I mean, we are the most used, right? And the reason we are the most used is because I care about usage.
It makes sense.
It makes sense, right? Things like that, right? Yeah. So I feel like I think my entry point came when I felt like I could make a difference. I felt like, okay, crypto has evolved to a point whereby I can actually start making a difference. That's actually when, and since then I've been doing a lot of things. I think I've been working with a lot of you know, like really great projects. Yeah, and then also did a lot of like non-profit stuff like WBTC, right, which is the most used wrap token, right? You know, in crypto, in DeFi, right? WBTC. And then I also started on the whole journey to build Jupiter, right, about 3 years ago. Yeah. So I think and I feel like so I feel like and now we are, and here we are. We are at the point where because for people to exit the infinite economy, right, they can't just be passive.
Yes.
Right. It is
intentionality is required.
How did Naruto get out of the infinite economy?
So it depends. It breaks it either through there's many theories, and there's many. Long story short, there's a thesis where they put the entire world in an infinite Tsukuyomi, but the concept of the illusion is either you realize that you're in an illusion, the person that's casting the illusion or the spell upon you breaks it, or there's different theories in different ways. But long story short, the infinite Tsukuyomi you must realize that you're part of the illusion or in the illusion in order to break it.
So it's actually great, because I feel like here we are, right? We're at the point where so many people around the world, right, are like, hey, this is not working for me, right? They're noticing. Yeah, they're noticing this. Something's not working. Why are all the economic reports showing such great numbers, but I live in shit, right? Why is it that every job report says things are going crazy and the economy is great, but I go to a Denny's and I eat fucking terrible food. Really fucking terrible food, like really bad food. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this because I went to a stage recently at 5 a.m. I want to eat there. I got a bill. I'm like, what the fuck is this thing? Why am I paying like $30 for things that are killing me, right? I'm like, I don't get it, right? So like people are starting to see that, right? They're like, but so and then at the same time, right? They're like, oh, this economic things are bullshit, right? This whole and then as now there's this whole new like exciting, right? Amazing, accessible, right? Cryptocurrency thing.
Accessibility.
But here's the thing: most people are still trading it, right? So, but the reason why most people are still in the infinity clubbing, right, is that they're just trading it. To them, crypto is like a stock right now. Think about it, right? If you treat crypto like a commodity, like gold or forex or stuff, right, you won't actually, and that's the reason why it's important to be used. That's the reason why I really care about the word usage, right? Now, using decentralized stuff. Here's the reason why, because if the masses of the people, right, like if 99% of people and stuff, they only see crypto as a trading tool. Same as stocks, no fucking difference. You go to Robinhood, right? You buy say Tesla and you buy Bitcoin. The same fucking thing, even though like it's so different, right? So what's actually really important here is the migration, right? I call it the migration, right? But we start to migrate people, and you won't break out of the infinite economy, right? Because to you, crypto is just another asset,
Yes.
right? And then you won't break out. Wait, right? So what you actually need to break out is that you need to really see it, and be like, wow, you see the light. There's a parallel universe out there that is so different, right? And you can do all these things, right? You can send money to someone, right? Without actually doing anything, without like it's amazing. Like
KYC, no having to call the bank and ask for permission to send your motherfucking dude. Yesterday, I had to send a large wire, $500,000. I get a call from the bank. Oh well, I need the bank. I need the information of the other company. I need the registration number. I need all these details. I need your agreements. I need your contractor paperwork. Well, because we need to ensure that who you're sending the money to is the right person. With crypto, none of that happens.
I mean, I get it, right? I get it. I don't blame them, right? I mean, it's just
They have to follow procedures.
The legacy of things that have been built up, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like this whole. But again, we talked about this, right? Now, what is the difference between protection and freedom and prison? What is the fucking difference, right? Now, with this construct, yeah, you kind of protect. Who are you really protecting? Think about it. Who are you really protecting? Right, you know, right? But okay, fine.
Like when they say, crypto's used for money laundering and terrorism, but so is the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, huge amounts, like
even more, because with the blockchain, I can track every transaction that's happening on Bitcoin. I can track your fiat.
Yeah, dude, have you seen those like suitcases? They're pretty big. They're pretty big. I don't know if you've seen them. They're pretty big, you know, right? Anyway, but whatever. I don't get that, right? I feel like we can all get. I feel like so the way I like to talk, right, is that I like to talk about things that we can all agree on.
Yes.
Right. That I think we can all agree that okay, those things were probably there for a reason, right? Those protections were there for through many years of built up and everything and stuff and everything, right? But we can also agree, right, that all those things, right, for whatever reason they were built up and stuff, right, has become prison, right, locking people in, and not just that, prisons were both ways, right? People always talk about prison. People always talk about prison locking people in, right? They forgot one thing: prisons are also extremely good at keeping things out. Literally, right? They keep things out. Right, you can't put toothpaste in. You can't bring this thing every stuff. You can't bring money in. Right, your prison is literally secret butts as currency. Right, things like that. Right, whatever. Right. So it's like I think people forget that. Right, people always think of prison as like not coming, not going out. They forget not going in. Things like that. Right, Right, so it's the same thing. Right. So we created what I call a luxury garden prison. Right. So one of my tweets yesterday, that really I got really fired up. I got really angry last week. Right, because I actually know I was in hospital the previous week, right? So I was in there for almost a week, right? So I think I was like very immobile in that period of time, and I was just like, and that's also when but you know what happened that week? Every motherfucking person in crypto, right? In crypto, not nowhere else in crypto, was fucking begging Gary Gensler, right, to approve the Bitcoin ETF. Right? All of them were just begging him to approve ETF, right? And why? Because to pump their backs, right? So and then so it's like and then when the SEC when they got approved, right? And then the Larry Fink, the guy, That's when, this is the first step towards tokenizing. Everything is going to tokenize. And obviously what it means is that BlackRock is going to build that shit and own that shit, right? I'm saying, no, right? Then I'm like, what? That got me really fired up. And holy shit, like we as an industry, we can. And then Gary said after that, the gaslight said, we are violating, we are actually breaking Satoshi's vision, right? Because what's happening now is that crypto is becoming more centralized, right? With this ETF thing, we are centralizing crypto. He was very happy about that. He was really happy. He was really happy that he was out there breaking Satoshi's vision. That he was the guy to break the illusion of crypto, right? By centralizing Bitcoin, right? And then got me really angry. It got me really fucking angry. I'm like, what? Not at him, by the way. I'm actually not good at him.
At the idea.
No, I'm not angry at the idea. I'm not angry at them at all. I'm angry at the industry. Right? We accepted that. We all were okay with that. We're totally true with that. Right? No. Guys, I'm not very clear here, right? I don't hate banks, I don't hate government, I don't hate fiat, I don't hate SEC. I love all of them. They're all doing their job. It's us. It's our industry, right? We are so... And then, no. It's very simple. The world is very simple. You fight for your own thing, right? They believe in their stuff. They're doing the job. We have to believe in our stuff too. Right? So if we... I want to be very, very clear here, right? I'm extremely clear for the sake of the things that I'm not upset at everybody who's doing their job. This is their job.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at BlackRock, for example, the reason they want a Bitcoin ETF is because they're going to make money.
That's the job. That's a job. It's fine. It's a job. I mean, like, if I run BlackRock, I want to do that too. I'm saying, I'm not a holy motherfucker. I don't go like, if I'm Larry Fink, I would do. No, fuck that shit. Whatever. I'm not holy that way. Whatever. This and that, right? Oh, by the way, that's also the reason why I would never want to run a sex. Because I don't trust myself with billion dollars. I just don't. Right? I just don't. I mean, I don't even trust myself with like $100 in a casino or whatever. No, seriously, I don't. I just don't. Right? You give me $1,000 of chips in the casino. What will I do? I'll fucking blow that motherfucking money, man. That's it. That's how it works. So I'm in DeFi because I don't trust myself. Done. I literally can't do anything. Right? I take $1 of a trade. Right? $1. Wait, what's that? It's fucking miserable. It's fucking amazing. I love it. I can't do anything. Right, I can't do anything. Everything's on shit. I can't do anything. Right, and that's powerful, right?
Yes.
Because you put yourself you don't put yourself in the state of corruption, right? And then I'm launching the launchpad today. Right, I made it clear to everyone. I tweeted that I'm not investing in anything. Right? Why? Because one of the biggest problems with launchpads is that like you pump your own projects, right?
Yes.
And then it creates a really, really dynamic and stuff, right? Things like that. So I make it very clear I'm not investing in anything, right? So I think like putting yourself in a position where you either like you can't technically corrupt, you can't do it, right? Or you already promised the whole way you will do it, right? I think there's power in that, right? And back to the whole thing, right? Is that I think that okay, so like these people don't control things, right? And again, that's their job. What people don't understand is that that's their job. You should never ever criticize someone for doing their job or for not believing the thing as you do. You don't not criticize them. What do? You stand up for yourself. You stand up for yourself, right? You don't criticize them, right? You show the world what's better, and that's what you do, Jupiter.
Through example.
True example, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
I like that. I like that you say that because you talk about this idea of where do you differentiate the line between protection and prison.
So
and you talk about this prison concept as this ecosystem, right? It's this enclosed ecosystem where you can't get out, but at the same time things can't come in.
I get you.
But you also have the ability now, because of technological advancements and because of digital tribes that are forming, to create your own ecosystem.
So great.
That competes. And
so great.
It goes back to how money used to be, which was money was individualized to units, to villages, to different companies. You know, companies would issue their own money, and money was produced by the private sector. It wasn't produced by the public sector. So now you have different money forms coming into being, creating an ecosystem.
So it's actually okay. So there are many things here, right? So I wanna just like talk through a few of them, right? You know, before I forget, okay, there's premium. I'll just cover something real quick. So it's actually really exciting because like to run off the thought I was saying earlier, right? Don't bitch about them, right? You're not crazy.
Let them do their thing. Yeah.
No, you're just fucking crazy about crypto right now. we are criticizing them or begging them. It's crazy. It's like, everyone's like, oh, please pump my bags and saying, oh, please approve my ETF, please, right? And then everyone, even creating even the Bitcoin maxis.
Yes.
Everyone, right? Everyone's like, oh, yeah, please my bags. Oh, please, holy person, please approve my thing. Come on, guys, come on, don't do that shit. Don't. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's your choice, right? But focus on what you can do, right? Focus on building a fucking parallel ecosystem, right? We are this entirely and great and amazing like decentralized economy that is forming, right? And then what we should do is that we should really focus on like growing that garden.
Yes.
It's a beautiful garden because like there's no prison, right? And take Jupiter for example, right? Like we have a lot of users, right? But can we lock them in? We can't. We can't lock them in. Can we lock people out? We can't.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful, right? And it's so I can't tell how beautiful that is. Right?
And not only just that aspect, but if you look at what DeFi was or operating, for example, back in the day in 2017, you would have a MetaMask wallet. If you wanted to partake, let's say, in an ICO, you would have to send your Ethereum to a random address, and then that random address would send you money back. So back in the day, it was like, dude, this shit doesn't work. But today, you hop on your phone, you download it, Phantom Wallet,
Backpack,
any of these top wallets, you go to the little dApp section, you click on Jupiter Exchange, and within 2 to 5 minutes, you're inside an alternative financial ecosystem that is so optimized, and it's only getting bigger and better.
So great. It's so great. I feel like that's the main motivation for Jupiter, right? And the JUP token, right? I feel like one big goal of the JUP token, right, is to really kind of create the community, the working group, and the DAO, right? To really start to whose mission, right, is to bring people in.
Yes.
Right, and then spread it out. Again, that's what's amazing about it is that you can't build prisons. You can't, right? And it's so great because you know why? The culture here doesn't like prisons.
That's correct.
And
they don't allow it.
They don't allow it. They
don't allow it.
Because like if you try to build a prison, they say fuck you.
Yes.
Right.
And they'll leave, and you can look at all the centralized exchanges that as soon as heavy KYC came in, as soon as heavy duty verification or big limitations came, the user base just left.
Oh, like you don't want your money locked. Simple as that, right? And that's the problem. That's the problem with China right now. China is a big fucking problem right now, right? Because they lost credibility, people leave, right? So instead of fixing the fucking problem, which is credibility, they built gates and prisons and locks, right? Now it's a dam. Yeah, at some point it will flow, and there's something now, right? Things like that. So that's a problem, So I feel like I think a lot of people ask me and stuff like, oh, are you gonna build some kind of token locking and everything and stuff? I'm like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm not interested, right? I feel like I feel like we live in a world that is very inclined towards building prisons. In fact, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding.
Why?
No, hear me out. No, because like Facebook, right? I can tell one thing. Facebook and every company and every bank and stuff, or every like subscription you pay for, right? Or a printer you buy printer you try to buy the thing for. Like people spend incredible amounts of money and energy and resources.
I mean,
right?
look at look at motherfucking Apple. Every time they want to change a charging port, or every time you want to get a different cable, these motherfuckers got you hooked. Right, so you have to buy their cord. You can't buy a third party.
I love Apple.
It doesn't work.
I'm sorry. I love Apple. Yeah, but yeah,
I guess too. It gets to the point where the government has to come in and say, oh, everybody has to have a USB-C, because if you don't have a USB-C, you're gonna have 19 different cords, which is a concept of keeping people inside closed ecosystem.
Have you read the book? Okay, but before I talk about that, the book thing, I'll ask you something. I want to remember something. There's a really really interesting transition point that's going on right now, where we're going back to the old days of like private money, right? And I'll get back to that and how it's different, and I want to get back to that about why that transition happened from having tons of private money, right? Why it shifted towards a fiat system, right? And why we're going back again. Cycle, bro.
Yes.
Right. Let's come back Apple real quick, because I want to introduce to you guys an interesting book, right? I think it's called there's this concept called the Cathedral and the Bazaar, right? I think there's also a book, Cathedral and the Bazaar, right? There's a parallel book, I can't remember it, right? I'll send it to you. But the idea is just simple. The idea is that like small groups of people, right, are effective at executing strategy, right? It's extremely hard to kind of coordinate an entire army of people to execute an iPhone, right? To do that, you need to have a very, very tight structure, right? Like TSMC and stuff, the chip company is notorious for that. This entire arms of like structure, hierarchy, processes, performance reviews, like both carrot and cake and stuff to try to keep it in mind, right? You enforce and stuff things like that. So I feel like that's actually but they're effective, right? They're able to like build these like fucking fabs and like crazy systems, right? And then on the other hand, you have the bazaar, right? Like networks of people to do their own thing, right? You know, and then they form their own systems. They like open source is a great example, right? Way before crypto, there's open source, right? And the cryptography scene was a great example as well, right? And those guys, that network tends to be where a lot of the interesting thing happen. Culture from the Burning Man, right? It's a great example, right? Of like a thing whereby like so Burning Man is actually very interesting because Burning Man kind of overlaps the two, right? You have this thing whereby like really like in an extremely decentralized and distributed way, 50,000 people come in here and do their own thing. Then I'm not in Burning Man you literally do your own thing. Right? This literally you do. But you have this cathedral that enforces everything like super tight, right? You know, right? And it's just small that people emphasize. So I think Berlin is a really interesting example for me because they're both able to have a small net of people that enforces an extremely tight set of rules and stuff, like very, very tightly, right? You know, but also have this like crazy, like bizarre of like random people doing actually random things, right? Like fucking random, right? Things like that, right? You know, yeah. So I feel that's an interesting example. Right. So I think both systems have their merits, right? Now, and taking that and going back to taking that idea of like, okay, both cathedrals and bazaars have merit, right? Going back to what I was saying earlier, right? About the whole. So you mentioned something earlier. So to give more context to what Leo was saying, right? Is that today we live in a world whereby every country enforces fiat systems.
Yes.
Right. And then globally the US dollar is enforced, right? You know, through a variety of ways, right? You know, whatever. And that's a really interesting topic too. We can have it entirely a session on that, right? But whatever it is, right? Enforced, right? And then, but it wasn't always that way, right? Like in fact, before that that national money system got formed, right? Banks had their own, like every county had their own money system. Every town who had
every ecosystem, whether it was small or big, had their own money system because money was and belonged to the private sector. It didn't belong to the governments. It didn't belong to big government.
Correct, precisely. And unified.
Yes.
Right. And to be clear, it unified partly because I think to be clear, right? We always talk about this fiat as being forced on the people, right? And it's true to a certain extent, right? But then also people wanted it, right? People actually wanted it, right? They wanted to be able, like, if I am in town A, I travel to town C.
Yes.
How am I want to be able to use my town A money in town C, right? I can't do that, right? Things like that. So you actually needed a way to enforce that legitimacy, right? So town A can talk to town B. It's a language, right? You know. Now, so I feel like there's also besides the fact that you did have a central power that was able to enforce the money, right, and eliminate money they don't like. Yes, that is true, but the people want it too. But now it's different. Now it's funny because now, if you look, right, this is Solana because I'm working there, right? I'm doing stuff there. You come to Solana, you say, okay, I want to have my own currency, right? And here are my numbers. Here's who I am. Here's how I generate value for it. Here's a community behind it and stuff. Cool. All right, great, fantastic. Now you have a currency, right? Now, and I do I say, okay, hey, you know what? I'm bored one day. I just go, hey, I want to do a Meow currency. Right? I'll go there. So I just say, hey, who wants some Meow? Right? Just Meow on Twitter. I give you the Meow. Done. Right? So now you have this big Meow community, right? Done. Right? I'm like, okay, cool. All right. Can we transact? We can. Will you trust a Meow? You will trust a Meow. It's different now. It's like it's the same thing as previously, right? But one big difference. I can trust your currency with all on chain. I know exactly how much I can swap it for. I know exactly how much liquidity is there, right? I know everything.
The numbers are there.
The numbers are there. I know everything, right? You know my numbers too, right? So yeah, we can do things. No problem. Easy, right? So cats and
Liches.
and we can transact, no problem, right? It's amazing, right? So basically with blockchain and with but it's about to understand this here, right? Blockchain is not the only answer. Community is.
Yes.
Right? So it's like I need to be like, we need to start like, because if I create a Meow, if I create a Meow coin, right, for example, right? Let's not talk Jupiter, right? Let's start from scratch.
An imaginary coin, Meow coin.
That's not imaginary, bro.
Everything's an idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's an idea, bro. It's not, I mean, why are you here? I want to give a break, man. Right? No, not imaginary. They just come on. Okay, that's joking. Let's just say we hypothetical. Not hypothetically speaking. Hypothetically speaking, right? Yeah, Meow coin, right? Whatever, right? Right. So it's like, okay, so I need to let's get back to the energy theory, right? I need to prove I gather enough energy, right? There's enough energy among the community that wants it, right? And builds up the necessary like support structure, right, to support that money, right? You know, that money. I don't like calling it coin, because I feel like we should all be talking. We should all be like, and anyone that creates a new coin or token should be aspiring towards becoming money, right? I mean, I know it's a high bar for many projects, right? You know, but I think we should try, right, to aspire to become money, right? Money means that there's this real, because anyone can create a coin. Literally, you go online, press a button on Solana, it costs like, I don't know, 2 cents or even less, right, to create a coin. I even quite done, right? So it's not the coin that matters, right? It's the energy, it's the human energy, it's the human functional, organizational energy that gets infused, right? That's what turns it from being a coin. A bit, if you go to Solana and you do a coin, it's literally worth less than a toilet paper. Literally, right? A toilet paper took real human. A toilet paper took real human energy to dig a tree, package the thing, recycle the water, recycle, put through the whole thing, and manifest it into a thing for you to use.
So you can calculate how much worth it has.
Yes, precisely, right? But if you just go to Solana and press a button and stuff, right? Yeah, that is like no energy there, right? You know, and then if you just create a few fancy graphics and just go, hey, buy my coin, then you get a bit of energy from people who want your coin to pump, so they get pumped too, right? So you get a bit of energy from them, but that's not real energy. I mean, I take it back. There's no such thing as fake energy, right? No? But it's not sustainable energy, right? Because they become believers, right? Things like that, right? So I feel like, so to your point, I feel like I really love that energy theory, and we should write about that stuff. Yeah, because I think it's very deep, right? You know, it comes from such a different place because every single money conversation, right? Hey guys, fuck economics, right? You go, oh, money is a medium of exchange, blah 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 blah. Come on, fuck that shit, right? How did it become a medium of exchange? No, it didn't. No, it didn't become medium exchange because it is a medium exchange. It became a medium exchange because enough people put enough energy and ideas into manifesting it, such that it became usable as a medium.
I mean, take the idea of salt, right? People fought wars over salt. Salt was used as money. That's why the word salary comes from the word salt, because you would pay people in salt, right? Because there was enough people that used it. There was enough people that exercised effort and energy to keep it, enough effort and energy in order to package it and put it in its way. And there was a demand, and there was people that were willing to utilize it in order for it to be money.
Precisely, right? You know, right? But obviously for salt, it became not used as money later on because of scarcity, right? No, things like that, right? You know? But to your point, it's very true. You had this highly measurable, highly testable thing, right? Yeah, it's all so that it's hard to actually fake. Right now, and then people could actually use it, and then people could actually use it for that, and it was real. People trusted money, so we have real money, right? You know, right? And later on, it did become fake money later on. So it did become fake money, right? So that's how unfeasible money, right? But it became fake money, right?
We found a better form of money.
Yeah, precisely, right? You know what? Yeah,
and that's the entire premise of DeFi, which is what I want to get into. Is we have a form of money, fiat, that's the standard. But now we have a new form of money because of technological advancement, technological progress that allows us to be able to bridge out of that.
Can I hop off that wall, please? Because I feel like I actually want to clarify for people here. I want to clarify for people something important. Just go back to the Meow and Glitch example, right? Dollar Meow, dollar Glitch, right? It's not so much that it's a better kind of money, right, or whatever. It's not. It just lives somewhere else, right? It just doesn't live in the prison. You get it? It's very important. Again, if you know me, you know one thing. I'm not a crypto maxi. I'm not, you know, because I'm not someone that goes, oh, because I'm not a crypto maxi because like, I feel like there's so much scams and all that bullshit, and again, I think DJs are as bad as Wall Street people, right? And whatever, right? Listen, seriously, whatever, you know, whatever, right? You know, I'm as bad too. If you put me in like leverage fees position, I might do worse things, right? I don't know, you know, right? So I totally think that, right? You know, so I don't want to be, I don't say better, right? But what is true is that if I create money, we do not live in the prison, and that's the big difference, right? And who do we have to go to prove our credibility? Do we go to a central government or central authority? No, we don't. We don't do that stuff, right?
We have a community.
We have a community, right? That's a community important. That's why community is very important, because like if I do a Meow, I have to show that there's real energy and focus and sustainability behind the Meow.
Yes.
Right. And then from a leisure like technical point of view and stuff, I need to show that look, I can't just mint because it's a Meow.
Talk to me about the importance of community, because we talk about community.
Let's just finish the thing real quick, because I really want to bring home the example of Glitch and Cats, right? You know, like, so same thing for you too, right? You can't just go and be like, oh hi, and look at it. No, you have to show that there's, and you can do that. That's from a lot of the influencers in the last cycle, right? All they do is just go, hi, I am Macchiao, I'm Pacquiao, I am whoever, right? Here's my coin, buy it, right? And you see that for a number of YouTube influencers, right? The NFT thing, whatever, right? But they didn't put real energy behind it, right? So it was just like, they just show and well, it doesn't work that way, right? Money doesn't work that way. You can't just show up and manifest money. No. Money, because you know why? Money is not manifested by you showing your face, right? Money is manifested by a critical mass of people sharing their energy.
Yes.
Right? And that is where the community comes in.
Yes.
Right? You need a community who manifests the money together. Right? And the broader community is to see that, oh wow, this thing is real. It's like this Luke has been around. He's done this thing. Like, he really put in the effort to create this glitch thing. Right? I'm saying, right? And then let's take it seriously, right? And then what happens to take it seriously? Liquidity happens. We can transact. Right? So community is very, very important, because every single currency is manifested, every single money type is manifested via the energy of a community. Right? And we are all governed by a higher community, right? Who then judges us, worthy or not, right? And obviously that community belongs to a higher community, right? And you can go really all the way up. You can really go all the way up, right? Whatever you believe in, right? And we're all judged. And that's great, because we need to be judged, right? Otherwise we will
Accountability.
precisely, right? And that's where community comes in.
Talk to me about the importance of community, because you know what was one of my issues with NFTs the last bull run was that the first, because everything was community, you know, like everything was about, you have 10,000 units of something, therefore you have community. But what happens, which is why I think Jupiter's and how you've decided to introduce the Jupiter token into the game, I think the game of crypto, it's very interesting, is because the first interaction that a lot of these NFT projects had with their community was a financial transaction.
Yeah.
So from the get-go, you've established a premise that the relationship is just driven by financial gain.
Yeah.
So what happens when you say fuck that, and it's driven by innovation, driven by progress, driven by, hey, let's play around, let's test, let's continue developing. Now the community wants more than just financial gain. They want to be involved. They want to be part. They want to grow the garden with you. Talk to me about the importance of community.
I mean, you know this better than I do, bro.
Come on. I mean, we have big communities, bro. We're building.
I mean, you know this better than I do, man. It's like, community is literally the worst fucking misused word in crypto. Other decentralization, right? You have decentralization is pretty bad, right? You know, a community is worse, I think. It's the most worst. It's the most.
Everybody has a community.
I mean, come on, man. It's like you go online, you go like, hey, I create something, and then I open a Discord, and then I say, hey, join my Discord. I give you 5 coins, and then you get a rush of people coming in, and then you go market to everyone, going like, hi, I am a successful project. I have 20,000 Discord members, right? You know, you do that shit, right? And you go, I have a community. Come on, man.
I've been around for 2 weeks. Buy my shit.
Yeah, it's like and you okay. So Gary Seinfeld said something. Yeah, I'm obsessed with Gary at this point. You know, whatever. But anyway, so Seinfeld said something, right? It's like when you go to a comedy club, right? When I go to, because I'm Seinfeld, the first minute they laugh at everything I say. Right? I can say the most dumbest shit like, "Hello, your mom is fat," and then they laugh. But what happens beyond a minute? You better be good. Right, and I did stand-up comedy before, right? I know that shit is real, bro.
Yeah.
That shit is real. It doesn't matter if it was like, say Vertelic, right, or Totally, right? Or like standing in front of a big audience, right? If they are doing stand-up and stuff, it doesn't matter. The first minute everyone laugh at it. Imagine if Totally goes on the audience and do stand-up, right? The first minute people laugh at everything you say.
Yeah.
After that, they'll be like, oh, what's this guy? It's not funny, right? So that's very stand-up comedy is very real in that way, right? Guess what?
What?
Same thing for money, right? You can be a YouTube celebrity, show up, and be like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. You get a lot of people rushing in because they want to be part of the game, right? You know, right? But then if you don't have sustained, and you get it because crypto loves hype, right? So crypto loves hype. So if you have any kind of like X number of followers, you go in here, right? People will hype you. Why? Because they make money.
Yes.
They're hype because they make money, right? So everyone's the game. They're hype because they make money, right? You know, things like that. So you want to be very careful there, right? Now, however, you go in there, you create that thing, right? And but guess what? It's like if you are not in there grinding, right? Like really showing the community a minute you're committed. You're not answering questions. Right, you are not like showing your commitment, right? The community sees that. It's a stand up. It's like then you'll be exactly like Seinfeld showing up to a comedy show, right? Being cheered for the 1 minute, and after he's trash.
Yes.
Right, and that's exactly every single celebrity that does cycle. Every single one. There's literally none.
Because 100%. That was my entire premise. You know, building the entire kind of, whether it's the Capital Club ecosystem or the entire kind of glitch movement, it's under the premise that, one, the internet is an honest place. When somebody can hide behind an anonymous profile photo, they'll tell you how they feel, right? So
good. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? So they'll tell you how you feel.
I love it.
Whether they're right or wrong is irrelevant. It's the fact that their opinion matters because they're part of this village. So you need to take it into account. We often talk about community leaders. We were at lunch the other day, and we were talking about what is the role of the leader in the community. And I gave you the example of communities, right? Most, back in the day, if you wanted to build a metropolis or you wanted to build a utopia or you wanted to build civilization, you would need to build it next to a fresh water source. You had to, because that's the only way that you could farm, that's the only way that you could preserve life. Let's take the Nile River, for example. We were talking about the Nile River. Egypt built around the Nile River. So what is the job of the community leaders? To preserve the integrity of the community or the Nile River. And then whatever gets built around it is just a byproduct of being able to preserve the community. I think what the community in the crypto community is looking for is leaders that they trust, that aren't going to fuck them over and destroy the Nile River on which things can actually be built.
So it's an extremely good point, but also a utopian point. The fucking problem in the industry right now, right, is that people are very, very willing, right? And by the way, guys, I'll say it, right? I mean, I'm not a crypto maxi. I mean, like, I'm not crypto maxi because I would literally tell the crypto industry what's fucked about them, right? Things like that, you know, right? Because we have gotten to a point that we want our backs. We care about our backs more than anything else, right? So we are very, very willing to compromise the Nile River, right? So even though we know the Nile River is like the life form, right? The integrity of Nile River is what sustains us, right? You know, but we see a celebrity she's willing to, palm our backs, right? So we say, hey, okay, maybe some fertilizer is not another thing.
But I toss a little poison in.
Yeah, fertilizer. It's called fertilizer. Fertilizer is great because you know what happens when you dump a fuck ton of fertilizer into the river? Things around start to grow, right? But you fuck the river out, obviously, right? Things like that, right? Because the whole river gets flooded with like algae and all that stuff, and that or you go like, hey, why don't you build a dam there? And then you get electricity. And that's what China did, right? China literally fucked all the rivers. They fucking fucked all the fucking rivers, man. Right? The rivers in China right now are such a good example of what's happening in China. Right? It's such a great country, right? Such a great such a great creative like individuals, right? But so talented, such a great country of just very smart people, right? But the now, man, the river is poisoned.
Yeah.
Right? It's blocked. It's blocked by dams. It's poisoned with all the kind of toxic we can think of, right? Things like that. That's a problem. And crypto is the same today, right? We are very we talk about integrity, we talk about decentralization, we talk about community, right? But the truth is that at every moment we are very happy to pour fertilizer into the river, right? And I say fertilizer because fertilizer at first glance doesn't feel bad, just fertilizer, right? But you fuck everything up, and that's a problem. We are too happy to accept any. I won't say we accept scams, but we're too happy to accept anything that hype us up, we accept. And don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid, right? I mean, why? Okay, I'm not stupid. Why do you think I announced JUP at Bitcoin at that specific time? Because I understand how important it is to leverage energy, right?
Yes.
But consider when I did it, right? Consider I never thought about this before because it's but I'll tell you why, right? Because I feel like and people are asking me when token for a long time, right? We were actually even a year ago we were already extremely popular, right? But it was only at that breakpoint that I felt like, okay, I had enough credibility, I had enough vision, right? When I say vision, I don't really mean grand vision. I just mean literally I know what to do next time kind of vision, right? Literally, it's not. When I say vision, I don't really mean that. Oh, okay, change your world kind of vision, right? But literally, okay, I got a GPS in front of me. I can kind of know that in the things direction, kind of thing, right? Right? But it's only then, okay, I felt like, okay, it's time for me to take the step, right? From turning that users into community, right? And that's the reason why there's energy. And that's the reason why my Bitcoin talk was seen as the best, because there was all that built up energy, right? That we wrote into it, right? It was like, hey, does anyone know Jupiter? Everyone uses Jupiter. Who uses Jupiter? Everyone uses Jupiter, right? And I'm saying who wants to know what Jupiter is doing next? Everyone wants to know what Jupiter is doing next, right? Who wants the JUP token? Everyone wants the JUP token.
Yes, everybody.
Yeah, everyone wanted the token for themselves, right? And that's great. I wanted to. I'm looking forward to my airdrop. That is coming in 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. 7 days. Oh my god, 7 days. My token launch in 7 days. Holy shit,
Wild, bro.
Wow, I don't know, man. I want to get the airdrop, whatever, right? Things like that. Right? So it's I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm finally a JUP holder, right? So I feel like the fact that you got this, I got this entire community of people and stuff who trust us, right? Why? We built the integrity over years, of being committed to UX, being committed to the user, being committed to technology, being committed to ecosystem, being committed to let's tell you something, right? People don't know this, but most, because we integrate a lot of systems, right? So we are often their testing ground, right? So things don't work. To put it bluntly, things don't work. Things always break. And so when we embed them into our system, they get flooded with a ton of users and orders and everything, right? And everything just keeps breaking, right? But when things break, do the users talk to them? They don't. They talk to us,
yeah.
Right? So we absorb a lot of that, right? We absorb a lot of their complaints and everything, right? But no, I'm not complaining. I love them, right? But that's the truth, right? We are the shield, right? Things like that. So, but it's fine because that's a commitment, right? It's a commitment to the user, right? And I feel like even though there were a lot of fuck ups and a lot of issues and a lot of bugs and a lot of downtime over the last year, but the community sees that. The community sees the amount of intense amount of work that we do, right, into the whole stack, right? From comms is very important, right? From comms to how we do community thing, how we manage the ecosystem, how interactive ecosystem, how much community. I think they see the whole stack, right? I feel like that's the reason why. So we accumulated enough energy, right? And where does that energy come from? It comes from we put in human work. And every user that uses saying, wow, this is great. It creates goodwill, right? So that creates energy, right? Everything that we do that is like good for the ecosystem, right? That creates goodwill, right? And trust, right? Yeah. So someone, recently I've been very busy. Recently, I recently got a hospital, so I've been a bit spiky recently. So there's this guy that tweeted, "Oh, you had 3 years to prepare for a token launch. Why didn't you? You're still so slow. You're useless, right?" I'm like, dude. Yeah, first of all, I don't deny I'm useless, first off, but then I'm a useless bozo. Let's just get out of the way, right? It's done, over, right?
We both agree.
We both agree on that. Yeah, I'm a useless.
Cool story, bro. We got that out.
Yeah, we got that. I'm a useless 0 IQ bozo, right? Done. Okay, but something got wrong, right? I didn't spend the last 3 years preparing a token, right? I spent the last 3 years obsessing over every single part of the product, right? I spent the last 2 years working with every single like DEX and platform provider, right, to make sure that integrated, make sure things are great.
Yes.
I spent the last 3 years talking to building good with the ecosystem, right, trying to support the ecosystem when things were going down. I spent the last 3 years every time there's something down happening, the morale is bad. I was there. I backed it out with words, right? I was there bringing trust to the community. That's also 3 years, bitch. Right? So yeah, yes, I'm a user's cat, whatever, done. But that is not what I spent 3 years doing.
And the Jupiter token intrinsically, in and of itself as a unit, holds no value. What gives it value is the 3 years plus and everything else in the future moving forward that is being built, and the community and the individuals that make it
precisely, right? Precisely. And if you do Bitcoin today, right, the value is not because, hi, I sure I can do. No, it's not. I know you won't do that, right? I know you do the shit, right? If you do a token, that token is going to be a manifestation of the trust that community has in you.
Yes.
And you will fuck that up. You will not fuck that up, right? You will not milk them. You will not. I know you won't do that, right? Because because you care about obviously you can't control the token price up or down, right? But you can't control that, but you can control your integrity. You will bring your integrity into the game.
Yes.
And say, okay, this is what our token is about. This is what I'm gonna do for it. Right? I won't do what I did. I won't do what I don't say, and I won't do what I will do what I say. Right? Simple. Right? And then if I'm gonna do anything, I'll tell you. Right? So you're gonna do that, right? And then so the value of a token, right, then becomes 3 things, right? Becomes number 1, the past. The energy you accumulated, people want that shit. And manifested to that thing. And then the present, what you say in the present right now. Right? What is the present right now? And the future. Right? So it becomes this amazing embodiment, right? And it's funny because you won't see that in any kind of economics textbook, right? Every textbook, every Wall Street textbook, TA, they'll do some kind of bullshit at PE. They do some fucking PE ratio. Come on, man, look at Tesla, man, give me a fucking break, right? Look at Tesla against stock, look at anything and everything, right? No, it's not. Look at that, right? And it's so blatantly obvious right now that that everything is even forex and stuff. It's actually very much based on belief, right? The Singapore dollar, right? Okay, cool. People, basically Singapore is a small country, right? We can't just print dollars, right? But if we just print dollar and stuff, right? Then we will drop in comparison to the US dollar, right? And the reason why the US dollar can do what the fuck they want is because the story is that they're the index.
Correct.
That's it. So it's not very complicated. They're the index, right? So the index fundamentally cannot devalue against everything else, right? But it can devalue against food. Obviously, it's a problem, right? Things like that, right? But the US dollar devalues, everything fucking goes crazy, right? Whatever. So it's when the index devalues, let me just digress real quick, right? When the index devalues, everything goes to hell.
That's correct.
All right. When the index devalues, everything goes to hell, right? And the funny thing is, because everything is based on index, right? And all the fucking economics textbooks are based on measuring versus index, right? So we don't even know. Everyone's confused. What's going on, right? What's going on, right? It's very simple, guys. Every single thing happening now is very simple, right? When the woman goes on TikTok and starts complaining about why her life is so fucked when the economics index are all up, right? And she blames the politicians. No. They're all in there. They either blame the Democrats or Republicans. That's wrong. They're together. They're one group of people. Forget it, right? You know, right? Let me tell you guys, the reason for that is because everything is based on the index, right? And the index is fucked, right? And the index is severely abused. Right? In saying that, and this entire financial system that's run on that index, right? And it's fucking abused to hell, right? You know.
You've been going through. You've had a crazy couple months. Building. You've gotten sick. You've gotten a lot of pressure from the community wanting you to do things. Rushing. There's a lot of builders, you know, in the space, and crypto tends to be ruthless, right? It's a difficult space to build. It can be intense. It can cause anxiety. It can cause stress. There's a new wave of crypto innovators. There's a new wave of crypto builders coming. What's your advice to them? What is your recommendation to these new builders that they don't, you know, they feel anxious about building communities. They feel anxious about building products that might get criticized. What is your advice to this new generation?
I got no advice, man. I got no advice, man. But I will say this, right? I think I think what I would say is this, right? I feel like probably the most important thing to understand is like what community is. Like you really kind of have you really kind of need to have your own take on community, right? Because everyone it has to be your take, right? It has to be your own unique, authentic vision of, and it's true. Every single good community, right?
They have their own vibe.
Precisely their own vibe, right? And seriously, because their own vibe, it's just their own vibe, right? It's funny. This is really good quote that someone was saying, right? Is that like every great mind is different. Every unique mind is different, right? Because they're like, okay, every unique mind is unique. Every great mind is unique, right? And then what I can't remember what book was that, but the core idea is that like when you talk to someone who is special, right? They just talk different, right? They don't have the same ideas as other people, right? They don't see the world the same way, right? I'm saying, I feel like that's actually very interesting, right? So I feel like it's actually the same thing, right? You kind of have to and it's if you look at every single like really good community, right? Ethereum, like Bitcoin, Solana, right? You know, and certainly hopefully Jupiter, right? You know, there's its own vibe, there's own like characteristics. That's just way of seeing the world, right? And you can't be afraid of that. You need to lean in. You have to lean in, right? Because if you don't, then you are. But the pressure to not lean in is very strong, because if you do things exactly the way other people do it, you will not get criticized.
Correct. That's correct, because it's the status quo and everybody knows.
Yeah, like if you're starting a meme coin today, you do the same old thing, right? You sell bots, you recruitment boys, you tell everyone's gonna pump, you tell everyone the story, you create graphics. This entire
it's the same cycle.
But what happens then? Now, my friend, you are one of the million. I'm not even joking, by the way. I mean, it's not even exaggerating, by the way. There are literally meme coin farms in somewhere right now. Like just literally minting like 30, 40 coins every single day, right? And hoping to hook in, and it doesn't cost. The cost is so low, right? The cost is so low, it costs nothing for them to do, right? Like Twitter is free. I think it's free, right? So you are just one though. You are just then without the scale. You know, they are literally, you must understand, guys, like if you want, you understand, they're literally farms today, right? Literally like copy and pasting code. It's a process at this point, right? You know, you duplicate the Uniswap code somewhere else, blah blah blah. You build community, blah blah blah. It's a whole industry by that, right? If you don't be but what can they never do? Those farms can never be you. It can never be you. Right, so be you. That's the only advantage you have. It's kind of the whole AI thing that we're talking about, right? You know, the whole thing about like, you know, you don't want to start AI company, right? You want to be AI proof, right? In crypto, it's similar. You either be a farm, just be a farm, just playbook it out, right? Just have a playbook and execute the shit out of it, right? And you do 20 things and you do 20 farms on that work. I don't judge you, by the way. There are people who do that. I don't judge. You know, I don't judge, right? Whatever, right? You work so you're great. That's not for me, right? So, but then if you are committed to, if you are saying, I don't want to be a farm, I don't want to be a farm, then you know what? You need a voice. You need a community. You need integrity.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be able to say, this is not what I do. Right? You need to put in the work. You need to like be able to. You need to put in the work of like, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to be here. Right? Right? And that is the reason why we worked. Right? Because everyone knows that Jupiter has been around, and we were around. We has been around, and we will be around.
Talk to me about being around. What's the grand vision? What do you see for the future? You've been working on this for 3 years. What do you see in the horizon? What's next?
Midterm, near-term, long-term.
Run me midterm and run me long-term.
Other near-term.
I'm very interested.
Midterm is simple. Midterm is that I think okay. So I'm not ideological.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand.
But I'm very manifestation based. What does that mean? It means that I want to manifest a certain future. It's simple visionary. I feel like
let's clear that up for 1 second. The concept of manifesting. So we were talking about it, and it's the taking the idea and through energy creating it into
precisely.
It's not this woo-woo fairy tale of
precisely. Guys, it's actually very important here. Which you might talk about.
Please.
No, guys, it's relevant to the whole like thing, right? It's like everyone is like vision oriented, right? And you know what's easiest to get a vision? You know why? How? Go to chat.openair.com. Give me a vision for blah blah blah. That's the easiest. Literally a vision statement right there, right? And literally that's how the farms are doing it, right? Right? So that's vision, right? It's a community, right? Like vision and community is absolutely like vicious bullshit, right? But then, hey, what's the opposite of that? What is real, right? What is real is that if you have a critical mass of people who believe in the same future,
yes,
and that, my friend, is manifestation.
yes,
right? That is manifestation because you just turn something that no one actually believes in, right? If you go think about it, if you go to ChatGPT, you generate a by the way, I use ChatGPT a lot to generate images because they're cute, but I never fucking use it writing. Never. Not zero, right? You will never fucking see me ChatGPT writing. Why? Because the words that you create, right, by ChatGPT, they're words, but they're not yours. There's no belief in that, right? No one actually believe, even you don't believe it, right? Because you didn't write it, right? You didn't set over every single word of it, right? So you don't actually believe it, right? So it's bullshit, right? It's literally bullshit. It's literally bullshit vision, right? Now, but what happens? What happens if you spend enough time and effort with a critical mass of people and not to be the same thing? It's the opposite of that, right? It's the opposite of that. Now you have people who, oh great, let's manifest this shit, right? Let's manifest this ethos, right? It's great, it's amazing, right? And that's the difference, right? The difference between vision, which, any third grader can write beautiful vision. I love AI because I feel like it really makes it such that like the bullshit stuff is taken care of, right? Done. Yeah. These like, come on, man. It's like right? It's like whatever, right? It's like now it becomes real. So anyone can write a vision statement, but how many people can motivate a big group of people to have a common vision together, a common idea together? Oh, very rare. Very rare. It's different, bro. Manifestation, right? And then and same for you, right? I can tell I haven't had the honor of going to one of your the meetups, right? No, but from everything I heard from everyone, including Andrew and stuff, it's amazing, and you really have this big community. I would love to go, by the way. I'd love to go.
We'd love to have you,
right? I'd love to go. I'll pay the 15K whatever, right? This and that, right? But I think because I want to go there as a guest. Not as a guest. I want to go there as a member.
Yes.
Right, to kind of see you know what I mean, right?
To be part of Capital Club. Yes.
Exactly. So I want to see the full side, right? Right. But anyway, I think but to the point earlier, I think like anyone can write a vision statement, right? But it takes real commitment and it takes real commitment and integrity to manifest in and courage, right? To manifest in the a critical mass of people, a certain idea, a certain ethos, a certain culture, right? I think that's important. Yeah.
So what's the midterm vision that you're seeing with Jupiter? What are the things that you're playing?
Manifestation. That's why I spend this whole day on manifestation, right? Because I'm not
So what are you wanting to manifest?
Precisely, right? Because I don't have a romance, right? Whatever, no boring for me, right? I feel like I think the midterm, the very near term thing is that I want to manifest I want a much lower barrier to entry. Right, I want to make it such that like okay, frictionless, right? Like really try to like work with everybody I need to work with, right? To try to I call it the meta, right? You know, the decentralized meta. The meta is where like so we got this like we got this prison, right? We got the meta, right? You know what can go freely in and out from the prison? Air. You can't block air, right? You know, right? You can't block air, right? You know, so the meta is like air. You know, right? It's hard to get it. But you can try to get it, but it's fucking hard to get it, right? You know, right? So I think so I feel like the first step is to really I'm not I don't want to be arrogant here. I think there are many great platforms out there, right? But I think Jupiter is in a really good place, right? You know, to kind of like be a really good entry point, right? For people who wants to move the activity from like this centralized gateways into this decentralized gateway, right? So we want to do that, right? So that's like and we call it the migration, right? You know, whereby we start migrating people over, right? And then start showing that, oh wow, you can see and do all these cool things here, right? It's fun here. You can send.
I love that you're people focused because so and I love that you say, yeah, there's other great projects out there, but they don't have the people and they don't have the community. And I love that your focus is on the individual because that's what makes things valuable. That's what pushes things forward. And you had a grand vision when we were at the Marina Bay, and I'm glad that we were overlooking the entire city because it was just so epic to be in that moment, listening to your grand vision for Jupiter. I want you to share with people the long-term vision. Yeah, then Jupiter is going to play a part of it, but it's the grand vision of how decentralized finance begins to engulf the entire world.
So quick question, not engulf. Oxygen. Does oxygen engulf people? No, oxygen's amongst people, right? So I feel like
it just is.
Sorry, it just is. Yeah. So I feel like I'm always very leery about any imagery that's dominating or engulfing, right? No, nothing wrong. But just like I feel like I'm much more comfortable with like talking about how it's just gonna be amongst people, right? That's what it meant.
So let's say amongst.
Yeah, amongst precisely. So. No. But sorry, I had to go get through that first. Migration, bro. You can't. There's no grand vision. You do migrate people. You must migrate people first.
Okay. So under the scenario.
All right. Next. Okay. So what is next is that here's the thing, right? Is that like I think once you have a critical mass of people, right, who are playing the game, who are in the game, who are comfortable with it, right, we start to be able to do amazing stuff, right? Now, for example, think about forex.
Yes.
Think of remittances, right? You know, if you have two decentralized markets, right? Say a Philippine dollar and a US dollar, right? And then a Singapore dollar, a US dollar, and those things are sufficiently liquid, right? And by the way, for most users who are not sending a lot of money, right, you don't need a lot of liquidity, right? The crazy thing is, I myself, as a not very rich individual, right, can actually do it such that there's deep enough liquidity for average user, right? This is an amazing thing, right? Because it's and just that running, right? Things like that, right? So but what you need is that you will actually need like for example, let's say Singapore to Philippines, right? You have markets, right? We have one Singapore US dollar market, and you have one Filipino US dollar market, right? And then you can literally do the whole transaction across there.
Entire forex swap.
And the full stack, and it will cost you like nothing. Right, it won't cost you like 5%. It won't cost you 5% fees, all the hidden fees, all that shit. Nothing. You get it right now, right?
No Western Union,
no Western Union, no weird shit, no fucking spreads. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. Right, done. Right, you go there. You maintain a Singapore account, and then so I feel like that is actually totally doable right now. We are so close, right? Another crazy, another important thing that can happen, right? If enough people is in the meta, right? I know you get frustrated at me because I talk about this migration thing, because but we do need a lot of people on it, right?
Yes.
You know, okay, for example,
the people will come. The people will come. Don't worry about the people. The people are coming, brother. The people are fucking coming in masses.
So that and take remittances, right? You know, everything, right? Take remittances, take payments, right? Because if you solve that fundamental forex problem, right, you know, right, and then you solve it. You know, people can just accept the thing, right? And then in many crypto companies today, we do not pay in fiat anymore. We pay in USDC or we pay in USD, right? You know what I'm saying, right? And then when when there's a good like SDC that comes out, I'm gonna pay that, Full stop. I'm gonna pay in that stuff. I'm really gonna pay in that, right? And then we just need to find a good way to offer an on-ramp, right? So for example, all the forex things can be solved if there is good on-ramp off-ramp from that stable coin, right? To the bank or the whatever. And so it's a very thin bridge, right? And we, Jupiter, right, along with the ecosystem, is going to build those markets. And they're done. We're good. And then when those markets are established already, then you can do payments. You can pay anything you want, like, and then the fees will be tiny, right? And not transparent mostly.
Yes, that's the important.
That's the important part. You know exactly what's happening. You know exactly. That's the cool thing about it. You will know exactly why. If you pay 1%, for example, right? You know exactly where the 1% goes. It's amazing. There's no bullshit. You know exactly how much the provider is gonna make, right? You know how much platform is gonna make. You know exactly how much. So assuming go to Jupiter, right? Because we route about 80% of our traffic right now, right? And we are probably the largest routing system, right? So if you route something through Jupiter, right? You know exactly the whole thing is clean, amazing, fucking amazing. What a dream, right? And then the world is closed. I'll give you an example. Stock exchanges, right? Now, today you list on a stock exchange, right? You go through all this stuff and blah blah blah, and what do you get? You don't get that much. You get access to some capital, right? You don't get access to like community. You don't get access to users. You don't get access to like the press or anything. You just get some. You just get a lot of shit. I'm saying right now, right? But what if imagine? Imagine this. Okay? Imagine we have a listing process. A global, I call it the GDSE, right? The Global Decentralized Stock Exchange, right? And Jupiter wants to build that, right? Right? Well, but you can list on Jupiter, right? And then you have someone can, and then a trusted auditor that's willing to put up capital, right? In order to be a trusted auditor, right? By the community, right? Right? They show the books, and then if it's an online business, any of the people investing, you can check it out.
For sure.
You can see, are you real? Are you selling stuff? You try to buy your stuff, right? Things like, and see, are you a legit commerce? Is your product real? What are people saying, right? And it's entire What? Tell me, bro. What? Say you're a medium-sized e-commerce company, right? That wants to get capital and thing, right? Who would be a better judge of your product or your company? Is it some random auditor in Wall Street or like penny stock exchanges? No, it's a community.
The people that use the product, the people that interact with it. For sure.
Yeah, dude, you are gonna have to get all your users to go to the community and be like, hey, these are all real users, and then the community is gonna try to buy your shit, right? And then it's amazing because now you have real credibility. Right, the good ones anyway. You have real credibility, right? Things like that, right? It's very real.
And the community, then once they start fucking with you, they can also help you improve.
Precisely, that's the amazing thing.
Yes.
Think of a stock exchange where the community helps you, right? Pumps your shit.
Now the entire stock exchange is run by bots, Wall Street, and a few actors, and the only reason the stock market's going up is because you keep fucking pumping fiat to the system.
They don't help.
They don't help for shit.
They don't help for shit.
And here's the thing: if you're part of, like, let's say today I buy $100,000 of Meta stock. Even if it's insignificant, I'm not part of any community.
You're not.
I'm not part of anything. And nobody's asking for decision. The small guy isn't asking for decision making. They're not asking to have, the ability to have rule casting power. They just want to be involved.
Let me tell you something fucking amazing. Fucking amazing about this is that I feel like once someone has a part of your business, right, they get so involved. They really get very involved. They really get. They really want to power that stuff. And airdrops are great because people get to choose, like, okay, I want to power you or not, kind of thing, right? I of course, don't get me wrong, I'm not crazy, right? There's this whole money aspect to it, but the community is real, right? But I feel like if you neglect the money aspect of it, you're stupid, right? But then if you also neglect the fact that people really want to be part of interesting things, you're also being stupid, right? More importantly, you're just not seeing the fun in it, right? So anyway, in summary, I think let's just imagine this, right? Then this, what do we build a global decentralized stock exchange, right? Whereby anyone can list, anyone can try to list.
Crazy,
right? And then they work with the offshore auditors and stuff, and then you have this entire community of people who are gonna help both audit you and try and help you.
Decentralized IPOing, decentralized crowdfunding,
everything. It's gonna happen. It's gonna fucking happen, man. I'm telling you. And the cool thing is, you know what, bro? You got all this, and finally, I call it the game. right? The global atomic market ecosystem, right? Like when you all these forex markets, all these shit coins, meme coins, whatever coins, right? JUP, DeFi tokens, right? Insane and Bitcoin, right? And stock, like this new forex stock exchange, right? Stock exchange, the RWH, right? I have a really good friend of mine. It's called Alliance. You should meet those guys. They're pretty cool. But then they built their VC firm, and they're really big on like RWH, right? Like putting housing on chain, things like that, right? All this in a single global machine. All this, and you can transact. You can literally go from a shitcoin to right? A meme coin, right? To a piece of real estate.
Wild,
right? Or to use your gains from a token that just pumped recently, and you can go and buy some again remittance to someone else. All that could be on one network, bro. All that shit, one network, bro. All that shit, one network, one transaction, one atomic transaction, 0.0002 cents coming away. And that bro will break the prison.
Yes.
That bro will be what migrates the people.
Breaking the infinite Tsukuyomi.
Yes, because they're gonna see it. They're gonna be like, oh wow, holy shit, this is way better.
Bro, wrapping up, you talked about the DAO. And you have a big vision for this DAO. Yeah, you gave me some wild thoughts about how you're building the Jupiter DAO, the ecosystem where people have some sort of decision making or voice.
Can I say anything one?
Yes.
Can I say anything one?
Whatever you want.
I think that's stupid. I think probably every single DAO right now in the crypto ecosystem is limited, right? They're not seeing. They're always like it's a very narrow agenda. Unisort's DAO agenda is to govern the Uniswap governance and blah blah blah, number of tokens, blah blah blah, and then ACCG. What provider I use, and ACCG come and say, fuck you guys, I want that one. Right?
Yeah, because they own the
it's like DAO, right?
Yeah, they have the voting power.
Yeah, and then whatever, right? And then all you have, and then the other good DAOs there's some really good DAOs out there, right? But make it out amazing, right? Make it out amazing, everyone. But I just feel like their agenda is like, but even make it out, the maker, like the DAI, went from this like really, really, really extremely cool concept from wanting to kind of like really provide our dollar, decentralized dollar, right? Into this thing about, it has come about managing returns, like managing the treasury and making sure that the thing grow and paying the people lots of money and stuff. It's boring, right? So I don't want any of the shit, right? I want to build I'll try.
That's all we can do.
Let me try. I want to build the most dynamic, the most forward-looking, the most non-insider community in crypto, right? Like where the agenda, right, is to build this meta, is to migrate people, is to do the three things, right? There are three components of it, right? There's migration. You're gonna migrate, man. You're gonna migrate. You have to migrate people, right? The meta, right? You gotta migrate people. You gotta people gotta stop using like their banks or the Western Union to send remittances, right? They gotta use this shit, right? Right. I mean, seriously. But then you also need the markets.
Yes.
Markets are critical. You need as many markets as possible in one place, right? There's no fucking way that your guy's gonna be like, oh, let me log into this network. Let me do a bridge token this token there, and then bridge over here. No. You need one single fucking network. You need all the markets on one single place, right? No. I'm not saying that Solana or Jupiter is going to be the only one doing it, right? But I'm saying that
but it needs to exist.
You need to get stuff somewhere. I'm saying that what I'm saying is that I do actually believe, and the reason why I'm working in Solana is that I do think that Solana is the most appropriate place. It's the network that has the best combination of community ecosystem, low cost, right, and very genuine community and everything to make this happen, right? I call it the game, right? And then you need and then when enough people when enough people have migrated over, they start using the systems. When you get enough markets, and because with markets come utility, bro.
Correct.
You can use cases. So we elevate. Don't get me wrong, guys, I love meme coins, I love shit coins, and everything, right? But you go beyond the game, right? And so we start going beyond the game, right? And then we start going beyond the game, but we start to offer real people who have real businesses, real value, right? Then we start being able to imagine things like global stock exchanges. Holy shit! Like think of a really, really, really think of someone who is really, really like a aspiring entrepreneur, right? who has the willingness and ability to prove to the global community that he wants to, he needs capital and he can make it, right? He's willing to go through that. He's willing to put energy. He's willing to put the energy into the game, right? To convincing the community, right? And then you know what? Jupiter is giving the venue. Jupiter wants to build that venue, right? For him to go there, for him to go to the community, the DAO, and be like, look, I'm legit. And that's where DAO come in, because you need that you need that parallel. So on the other side, right? Because on the other side of the energy, you need a network of people who's willing to do that shit. Who is willing to say, hey, I'm going to invest JUP tokens, right, into this migration thing, right? I'm going to use JUP to invest in companies that build this global market, right? Okay, I'm going to invest. We as a community, JUP community, we're going to support good entrepreneurs that want to do this thing, and we're willing to fuck up, right? Because they're going to fuck up, they're going to be scams. But if we as a community, JUP community, try to build this global decentralized exchange, there will be scams.
Absolutely.
Right? Question: how do we improve, right? And how we take a loss, right? So first of all, we got to be big enough, right? As a community, capital wise, and thankfully, I think from a capital point of view, right, JUP is going to be fine, right? So ideally we have enough capital. Ideally we have enough people, and we have enough people. We have lots of people on the part of Jupiter. And it's fucking amazing, right? I think we talk about privilege the other day, right? I feel like I'm in this incredibly privileged position, right? To be like where people want to work with us. Incredible. It's incredible that I can go to practically anyone in the ecosystem right now and be like, hey, do you want to work with Jupiter on stuff? They'll say yes. It's an incredibly privileged position to be in, right? I know, and maybe we fuck it up after January, I don't know, right? But for now, it's okay, it'll be fine, bro. And then so I on the right there. So that is the DAO I want. I don't want.
So you have the migration, then you have the markets. What's the third?
The GDSC, the global stock exchange. You need those things.
Incredible.
You need those things. You need migration, right? Okay. So here's the thing. You need the migration, right? Because you need to migrate people. It's literally
you need to bridge people over, but what are you bridging them over? You can't bridge them over.
Precisely. You bridge them. And by the way, when I talk about these three things, they're not separate, step by step. They're parallel.
Correct.
Right. So you start migrating people over, and second, wow, I can do all these things. And all that in markets.
Correct.
You need markets for all that shit, and not tokens. You don't need tokens. You need markets. Right. That's what I don't understand. People always confuse because markets. No, two different things. Markets are matters, not tokens, right? And you can mean the token, not I'm going to create a market, right? Right? Done, right? So you need vibrant markets, right? And because Jupiter connects everything together, there's no liquidity problems. Sorry, there's no connectivity problems, right? There's no isolation, right? There's not going to be the case where you create, say, a Filipino peso US dollar market and it won't be found. No, bro, it will be found. It's fucking amazing. You create a fucking market on Solana, or in maybe in the future networks, it will be found. It will be connected to everyone else, right? And anyone can go from anything they want into that thing. It's fucking wow. It's crazy, right? And you get your money. There's no chance of scamming because there's no chance of scamming because you get your money right away, right? It's an atomic transaction, right? Instant atomic transaction. That means that literally, if you give something or something, you get something. You get the thing you want, right? There's no intermediary to scam you. None. You get your thing you want. Think about it. And think about how crazy that is, right? It doesn't matter how many different types of markets there are, right? They're all in one network. It's crazy. It's not possible today anywhere. Forget it, right? It's wow.
It's the way to break the illusion.
Yes, that just backed up the prison
of the fact that the prison is the only place to
precisely, right?
And for people that are in first world countries like the US or Singapore, you may be like, that whatever. I'm okay in this prison because it's comfortable. But what about all the people in Africa? What about all the people in Central America, South America, where they don't have access to banking, where they don't have access to the traditional tools, where
it's going to be so great.
It's going to be absolutely phenomenal, bro.
Have you tried sending money? Have you tried sending money from,
bro?
Dude, I sent money from Singapore. Fucking Singapore to a US is a bitch. I can't imagine sending money from, say, Zimbabwe to US. No, I just can't imagine that. Forget it. I just can't imagine. So anyway, yeah. But even for Singaporeans or Americans, right? They're still in this you can't do so many things, right? It's just so difficult to do so many things, right? So yeah, so you gotta do three things, right? You're gonna migrate enough people over. You're gonna create a lot of utility and here's the crazy thing. Okay, are you ready for this? Here's my crazy concept, right? Markets equals utility.
Correct.
Simple, right? It's not very complicated. Markets equals utility. the more diverse and the market you have, the more utility you get, right? People don't think of it. People think of utility as a certain function, but no. Just have markets, I think it work. It's fucking amazing, right? And then the thing you need is that you need a way to successfully kind of like transition, because the current stock markets, right, they are built for a certain purpose, right? And they're very, again, I'm not criticizing them, right? They have their own processes and everything, right? But they're built for a certain world, right? There's this new world, right? We need to build a world by like, okay, wow, if you are a successful business, right, and you're willing to open your books, right, and prove to the community that you're good, right, and maybe there, right, maybe even for a year to prove that you're good, right? Then we need a community to welcome you.
Yes.
Right, and then we start the migration. Right? We start like going to, oh wait, why do I need to, why should my goal be an IPO? I get nothing with the IPO. First of all, very, very, very few people with IPO. It's crazy because like you have
to go through a bank to IPO.
Either IPO you're a stock exchange or you're a penny stock, right? But think about it, right? There's enough capital on chain. There's enough capital on chain, bro. Plenty of capital on chain. Have you seen like there's a lot of capital on chain that wants to fill the businesses, right? So just build that, right? So we're three things, right? And that's actually what will build this meta, right? What will actually build this meta is wow, the ice cream, bro. The ice cream shop that you are eating at is still on chain, right? You can go there, and you can be a owner of this ice cream store.
Be a part of it
just by buying a token right now, and you open Jupiter. You buy now. You're owner of the ice cream store.
Wild. I support the future, brother. I support the.
Then the ice cream store. If you actually have X amount of tokens, if you X amount of tokens and stuff, you will get discounted ice cream, or you get a special ice cream just only for this. Oh, so great, right? I'm not saying we get there right now, right? When I share this thing, people always go, "Oh yeah, we're so far away." Of course you're so far away. Give me a fucking break.
But
it's that far away.
It's only as far as the amount of energy and people that are dedicated to building.
Actually.
And that's, I think, the ethos and the message of this entire Money Talks is, if you want change, you have to be the change. You can't just expect change to happen to you. You need to get involved, roll up your sleeves, and input the necessary energy. With proof,
you gotta be there. You gotta prove it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people really don't understand, and that's the thing I hate the most, right? Is that people these days, right? They really just want their backs to pump, right? So they're willing to they look for anything but proof, right? They're willing to look at celebrityhood. They're willing to go like, okay, oh, you are Microsoft, you are Google. If Microsoft and Google approach the company, you're pumping, right? But Microsoft and Google didn't invest. I don't think they're bad. They're great companies, right? I mean, like, I would love to build something anywhere as great as Microsoft or Google, right? Anywhere even close, right? But they didn't prove anything in the blockchain space. They didn't want there, right? So I feel like that's actually the one thing that I think people don't care about, right? They don't care about, like, and that's the reason why scams happen. Guys. To the industry and stuff, I will say this thing, right? Scammers are like mosquitoes, right? You can't blame the mosquito. They're just trying to find food. Don't blame them. They're just mosquitoes. I mean, the problem is that we keep blaming the scammers. No, don't fucking blame the scammers. The scammers are mosquitoes. Blame yourself.
Blame yourself. Be fully responsible. And if you want to change, be the change.
Be the change as an industry, right? Stop. Like really start thinking about how we're doing things.
Yes.
And summarizing things. I feel like I think at a very, very high level, a lot of things are fucked. The way the world understands money and communities and everything is wrong. It is correct in some way. There's some truth in all those things, but practically speaking, wrong, right? And then the index that we used to judge every single thing that we do is fucked and causing a lot of people don't even understand what's going on. So they blame politicians, they blame everything, right? But they don't understand it's the index that's fucked, right? And then at the industry level, I think, and certainly I think I want to I want to be a good example. I'm not saying I'm a good example, I'm a bozo, right? Right? But I try, right? And if I mess up, I say I mess up, right? Right? And then I think at the community level, I would like to build a community, right? That supports this thing, right? That support the meta, right? That support this thing that called the meta, whereby we migrate people over, we give them utility to stay, and then we really kind of bring in like a lot of like the businesses they know and love into the meta. Right now, and then I think at that point in time, I think we will have successfully created we successfully, because right now at the point of crypto, right, we have successfully established crypto as an asset class, right? What's the next step, bro? The next step is establishing crypto as a way of life, right? And that's our next step. I've got 10 years, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
Meow. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
It's been a good session.
Cats.
Glitches.
Let's go.
To Jupiter.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of Money Talks, an exclusive conversation with some of the most brilliant minds in business, entrepreneurship, and finance. Hopefully you guys were able to grasp a small nugget of the vision of what DeFi, crypto, and the future of money holds. I'll see you guys on the next one.